Hello, Facebook and Buckeye fans. I'm Patrick Murphy with Steve Hellwagon here from 24/7 Sports and Bucknuts.com. We're here in Ohio Stadium following Ohio State's 34-10 win against Michigan State. Steve, we talked about it last week. We've talked about it a few times. We were waiting for the Buckeyes to get tested. Now, 34-10, you handle business ultimately, but the first quarter the Buckeyes were tested. 3 points despite 2 short fields due to turnovers. I think it was 16 total yards. What did you see out of this team, the response that they had the rest of the game? 296 yards in the second quarter. What do you take from this game of this big win against Michigan State?
No question about this. They were tested in this game, and this was a physical football game. There's some guys that know that they played in a Big Ten football game after tonight, including Justin Fields, who some observers thought got a little dinged up on his touchdown run, and still came back and played after that, had the fumble after that. But, you think about it in the whole, that's a quality Michigan State team, probably going to go on and win 9 games, I would think. Excuse me. Kind of depends how they will play when they have their big-time matchups with Penn State and Michigan down the line. Not sure who they play in the crossover games going on. But at any rate, Ohio State took care of business in this game, punched the bully in the mouth, so to speak. Here was Michigan State giving up 58 yards per game on the ground and 255 yards total offense coming in. And tonight Ohio State had over 300 yards rushing, and they also ended up with, I think, around 528 or thereabouts total offense. So they really did a number on what a lot of people think is a very good Michigan State defense. And so the final analysis is this team just keeps right on rolling. Were there some bumps in the road? Certainly. But they've got the explosiveness. As we saw again, this is the best second quarter team in college football, maybe in college football history. They were outscoring their opponents 110-10 in the second quarter in the 5 previous games.
That's good, right?
Yeah, and then tonight was 24-10, and they took a 3-0 game, and it went to halftime 27-10. And when Michigan State failed to move the ball in the first drive of the second half but failed to score, excuse me, missed a chip shot field goal, you could feel the wind kind of go out of their sails. And, of course, the Buckeyes tacked on another touchdown on the short run by Justin Fields early in the fourth quarter, and it was all over but the shouting, 34-10. An impressive victory over the number 25 ranked Michigan State Spartans. And the Buckeyes have a well-deserved open week coming up after winning 6 games in 6 weeks. They'll take next week off. They will practice probably 2 or 3 of the days at least. Players will get treatment, and they'll get over whatever the nagging injuries are that are bothering them, and then they'll get ready for Northwestern. Northwestern, hard luck loser today at Nebraska, 13-10, and they will come into that game at 1-4. I believe Northwestern is also off this coming week, so kind of a tough assignment for them to now at 1-4 host the number 4 team, which could be even higher than that as they move on down the line. As other teams maybe fall off, you never know. But Ohio State certainly lived up to their number 4 ranking tonight, no question about it.
You mentioned a few guys offensively there. J.K. Dobbins keeps rolling. We talked at the beginning of the season about how he wanted to be the workhorse back. He was tonight. 24 carries, 172 yards and a touchdown. Business as usual for him, though this was a very good Michigan State rush defense. Justin Fields, though, 206 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 61 rushing yards and another score, as you mentioned. But threw his first interception, almost threw another one, had some issues early. Offensive line wasn't holding up. This was the first time we really saw him tested. A defense that could come after him and could put pressure on Ohio State's offense. What did you make of how he handled the situation and then how he responded to get the Buckeye offense going?
I will admit there were some uneasy moments in that first quarter. He took a sack on the first drive, 18-yard loss, and it really didn't get a whole heck of a lot better. They netted 16 yards on 16 plays in the first quarter, including that 18-yard loss on that one play. They only had one really positive play on offense in the entire first quarter. Kicked a field goal, missed a field goal, and otherwise not a whole lot to write home about in that first quarter. But then Fields in the second quarter came in and just did an outstanding job. I mean, distributing the football, running the football, that was important as well. He got loose for a 35-yard run on one of those possessions that couldn't have come at a better time. They had everything else kind of stacked up, and he saw the lane and was able to break it outside and get the big play. So maybe they'll encourage him to do a little bit more of that, although Ryan Day says that keeps him up at night when he thinks about putting his meal ticket in harm's way. Those are my words, not necessarily his words, but we all know what Justin Fields means to this Ohio State team right now, as they are, hey, they're bowl eligible. They're 6-0. I'm joking, of course, because they have so many much larger aspirations, including the Big Ten championship and qualifying for the college football playoffs. So Fields has the position to do just that. I think that this is what it looks like when you play a quality defense. There's going to be negative plays. There's going to be turnovers. It's just, I mean, Troy Smith had them, Terrell Pryor, Braxton Miller. Everybody has them. It's just part of the game. The play where he threw the interception, Ryan Day said he was upset because of the call that he made against that defense. They were expecting perhaps a man coverage and got more of a zone look, and the cornerback dropped off on the KJ Hill instead of going with Garrett Wilson as they had hoped that he would. And Day said he was upset for putting Fields in that position. Fields, he said that Day would tell Fields in a similar situation, you got to make me look good when I call a bad play. You got to throw the ball away or whatever, which is very valid because he kind of threw it out there for grabs. His first time really he's put one out there that anybody could get, and the Michigan State got it. As we said, good team. Josiah Scott, he was all over the field for Michigan State tonight. So was Joe Bakke, however they pronounce it. He was fabulous. So, Ohio State, this is their most impressive victory to me, obviously, against a quality team. I mean, Cincinnati is now proving to also be a quality team, having beaten Central Florida last night. But Ohio State is starting to stack some things up, and there will be bigger games down the line. Northwestern, obviously, the next game on the road. Then back here in 3 weeks against Wisconsin. Right now, Wisconsin remains undefeated and still very impressive following Jonathan Taylor. And that's what the game will come down to. Can the Ohio State defense stop Jonathan Taylor? Tonight, Michigan State, 27 carries, 67 yards, 2.5 average. That's what it's looked like every week or worse for Ohio State's opponents when they try and run the ball against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I was going to bring up the defense, as you mentioned.
Fabulous.
Stopping the run, but total yards, 285 against Michigan State. Obviously,
10 points.
Holding them to 10 points.
10 points.
Jordan Fuller leads the team with 7 tackles. He had an interception that we thought was returned for a touchdown. They called it back for a crackback block. I haven't seen it. I don't know if you saw the replay.
It looked to me on the replay, Fuller was going by, and a defender or an offensive player from Michigan State may have had an angle on him, and it was not a heavy hit. He just went like that, basically, and they considered it a blindside play. It didn't fall under a block in the back, in my opinion, and I don't think it would have met the criteria to be considered a heavy hit. That should only be called on a heavy hit. You can't, otherwise you're not playing football. So I don't know.
It was almost a quiet night for the defensive line, and I looked down here.
Jayshon Cornell had a sack.
Yeah, Jayshon Cornell, 4 tackles, a sack. Chase Young, 4 tackles and a sack. Yeah, I mean, when you can quietly have 2 guys with sacks, 2 guys with combining for 8 tackles, and they definitely got some pressure tonight on the Workie, especially as the game wore on. This defensive line seems to be driving things for the Buckeye defense right now. They're forcing bad throws, getting after the quarterback. I wrote about that this past week. It all starts up front on both sides of the ball, and I think we saw that today. 3
more takeaways, and the bad pitch was because Chase Young was in the quarterback's face and he panicked, and he did not have, they didn't have very good, whatever they call it, pitch integrity, whatever it is. It was all out of whack because he had to get the ball out of his hands, and that created a fumble. The other one was Damon Arnett knocking the ball away from the receiver after he had caught the ball on a slant. Tremendous play there by Arnett. Arnett left the game. No idea exactly what the status of his injury is.
Yeah, I saw him on the sideline in the 4th quarter. He had the cast on his hand, which he wears normally, was in street clothes, but went to celebrate with Jordan Fuller and the rest of the team after that interception.
That's a good sign.
So he's moving fine. I took a picture, put it out on Twitter. He was moving okay. I didn't notice anything wrong. Ryan Day didn't give much of an answer other than the medical staff will evaluate him tonight.
Are you good on this?
Yeah. We're going to get out of here.
Can I use a line from Paul Keels on basketball? Let's get out of here, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's late. This week's going to be a little different with the bye week, as Steve mentioned. We will only have one availability. That'll be Tuesday. We'll meet with Ryan Day and some assistant coaches, so look for that on Bucknuts.com, 24/7 Sports. Steve, another Buckeye win.
6-0.
Let's go finish what we need to do tonight and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll have more stuff, so check back at the site, check back on Facebook, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.